Welcome back to the ProPA podcast. I'm your host, Prof. G, and today we're wrapping up our bone tumor mini-series in the MSK101 Clinical Medicine Brief with a high-yield comparison of benign versus malignant bone tumors. We've already covered some of the heavy hitters, like Osteosarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, Osteoid osteoma, and bone cysts. In this episode, we'll tie everything together so you can easily distinguish between benign and malignant features, both on exams and in clinical practice. Let's dive in. Did you know that up to 40% of bone tumors found incidentally in adults are benign and require no intervention beyond monitoring? Let's take a closer look. So, what is the kinderpatho behind bony tumors? Well, bony tumors can be either benign, which are non-cancerous, or malignant, cancerous, and recognizing the clinical and radiologic differences is essential for determining urgency, treatment, and prognosis. Here's how to keep it straight. First, let's talk about benign bone tumors and their key traits. We're usually going to see well-demarcated margins. These bony tumors are also going to be slow growing and have non-aggressive behavior. They're often asymptomatic and present with mild chronic pain. These are more common in younger patients and found incidentally in most cases. They rarely metastasize and they can cause pathologic fractures if they're large enough. Remember, a pathologic fracture is a fracture that doesn't quite have the mechanism you think it would need to break the bone. So, for instance, saying throwing a baseball from center field to home and you break your humerus, that's a pathologic fracture because you wouldn't normally get a broken bone from throwing a baseball. Examples of these type of benign bone tumors include the unicameral or simple bone cysts, an osteoid osteoma, an osteochondroma, and an enchondroma. Now let's look at malignant bone tumors. So some of the key traits behind them. We're usually going to see an ill-defined border and permeative appearance. These tumors tend to be much more aggressive in their growth pattern and they are often painful. They may present with night pain or even constitutional symptoms. And we often see an elevated ALK phos or LDH and inflammatory markers that are elevated. There is potential for local invasion and metastases, especially to the lungs. Some examples of malignant bone tumors include Osteosarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, Chondrosarcoma, and metastatic bone disease from the breast, prostate, or lung. What are some of the radiographic clues? Well, benign, we're going to see those clear edges and thin sclerotic rims. We might also see that fallen fragment sign from those simple bone cysts. We might also see a central nidus with surrounding sclerosis in that osteoid osteoma. As far as malignant radiographic clues, we might see that classic sunburst pattern in osteosarcoma, a Codman triangle with periosteal elevation, onion skinning in Ewing sarcoma, or cortical destruction or soft tissue mass. What are some of the clinical red flags for malignancy? Well, that pain at night that's not relieved by rest or NSAIDs, the systemic symptoms like fever, weight loss, or fatigue, or a rapidly enlarging mass, or elevated inflammatory markers like ALK phos or LDH. If we have a patient who is greater than the age of 40 with new onset bone pain, always consider metastatic disease. All right, some quick book versus street med. So, book med is going to show us clean categories of benign versus malignant with textbook imaging findings. Street med, on the other hand, real patients may present subtly or atypically, especially older adults with metastatic lesions or kids with persistent injuries that don't heal. All right, so some quick clinical pearls to wrap things up. So, location matters. Diaphysis, think Ewing. Metaphysis, think osteosarcoma. Don't ignore painful benign lesions, especially if they are worsening. Always stage malignant tumors with HSCT. A biopsy is often the only way to know for sure. You never want to guess. Remember, this is something that can change someone's life. Also, an osteoid osteoma equals night pain relieved by NSAIDs. And bone cysts are painless unless you get a pathologic fracture. All right, it's time for those PANCE style practice questions. So, question 1, we have a 16-year-old patient who presents with persistent night pain in the femur. An x-ray shows a small radiolucent nidus with surrounding sclerosis. Pain is relieved by ibuprofen. Which of the following best describes this lesion? A. Malignant, destructive, and painful at rest. B. Benign, small, and well circumscribed. C. Benign, aggressive, and poorly defined. Or D. Malignant, systemic, symptoms are present. I'll give you a few seconds. This one is pretty difficult. All right, did you get the right answer? The answer is B, benign, small, and well circumscribed. This is classic for osteoid osteoma. Question 2, which of the following findings would raise the most concern for a malignant bone tumor? Is it A, lucent lesion with thin rim of sclerosis? B, pain that improves with rest? C, fever and elevated ESR in a teen with bone pain? Or D, asymptomatic lesion found incidentally? I'll give you a few seconds. If you said C, you are correct. The correct answer is fever and elevated ESR in a teen with bone pain. This suggests a systemic process like Ewing sarcoma. All right, some final thoughts. So, understanding the differences between benign and malignant bone tumors can save you from missing a serious diagnosis or overreacting to a harmless lesion. Focus on the age, the location, the symptoms, and radiographic appearance. And when in doubt, biopsy it out. If you're enjoying this series, please follow the Pro PA podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Professor GPAC, for more clinical content. If you found this episode helpful, share it with your fellow PA students or colleagues. And remember, this is the Pro PA podcast, where future pros in medicine are made. See you in the next one.